Oh! Even if I have to drag myself across broken glass, I'll do it. And they matter, damn it. Thanks, Steve.
Hi, my name is Melissa and I'm a professional soul singer. Today we're going to be discovering
Sup, my dudes? How the f are you? I hope you're having a glorious day. Maybe you've remembered that your favourite can of juice is in the fridge and no one's drank it yet. Maybe they let you away early at work. Whatever tiny miracle has happened for you today, I hope that it spread a little joy in your heart. That was a little bit more treacly than I intended it to be. Welcome back to Soul Singer Discovers. I'm about to tell you what we're going to be discovering today, but before I do, I'd like to get to our commenters. As I mentioned last time, I would like to highlight a commenter each video for comments that I find either interesting or funny or informative. We have yet to come up with a name for it. We can't call it Commenter of the Week because they're more than every week. We can't really call it Commenter of the Video because that means that my comments don't matter. And they matter, damn it. So I'm just going to go with Metalhead Musings. This video's Metalhead Musings comes from Steve. Steve Daly says, I have a deaf and blind student. He loves Tool. He puts his hands on the speakers to feel it. Steve, I love this comment. I really do. At first I thought you were trying to be funny and wide. I should point out, wide is a Scottish way of saying kind of cheeky or rude. You're being wide. I realise you're not being wide. I actually used to teach children with additional support needs for a charity that wanted to give them music lessons. And I had plenty of blind and deaf students. And it was interesting because they go around and they feel things, they put their backs against speakers, all kinds of fabulous ways. And then you forget, music is not just something that you consume with your ears. So just remember, kids, if you're sitting there listening to your music, maybe put it on somewhere in your house where you can actually sit and listen to the vibration in your own body. That's cool as Today is Patron's Choice, and it's another Steve. Thank you very much to Steve, who has requested today's discovery, which is Cannibal Corpse. Oh, I'm not going to lie, the title is ever so slightly putting me off. I think I've only listened to one band that was very brutal death metal, and that was Party Cannon, who are from Scotland, and it was very hard to consume. I mean, it didn't help that that was my very first discovery, and it was too much. It was intense. I had to lie down after it. And I imagine this band's going to be something along the same lines. Cannibal Corpse were founded in 1988 in Buffalo in America. They have many different lineups, and currently I believe the bassist Alex Webster is the only original member left in the band. Their debut album, Eaten Back to Life, was released in 1990, and the band's music is characterised by its brutal nature. Oh. Today, the song we're going to be discovering by Cannibal Corpse is Evisceration Plague. Let's just dip in. Let's just find out what it's all about, shall we? Thanks, Steve. I'm kidding, thank you.
The pathogens of devil's design. The dark side of science breathes a weapon of war. Contagious killing and eternal distress. Homicide or suicide will be the cause of death. the disease. Your brain disabled by the constant pain. Erratic actions lead my thoughts to the blade. I've lost control, I've lost control. Make for your life, you won't escape the night. Your fate was sealed today. Disease is spread, you pray for death. Evisceration play.
Oh, trippy. Pausing. It's really weird how much over the past 4 months, 5 months, that my ability to listen to this stuff has changed dramatically. If you'd have played this to me 5 months ago, I'd have been like, no, absolutely not, I'm not interested. Which is unfair, and as a musician I should know better. But it's so hard to come from wanting to listen to things like Stevie Wonder's Knock Me Off My Feet, or Corey Henry, or Layla Hathaway, or Jasmine Sullivan, to come from all of that into something that like this feels so jarring, but now it doesn't feel even close to as jarring. I've been doing a lot of practice around metal vocals. And trying to figure out exactly how they're creating each noise. And obviously with metal music, there's lots of it's not just all screaming. There's so many different variations of tone and growl. There's scream, growl, there's low end stuff, there's throat singing, there's all kinds of different screams. And I've been learning more about sort of Jens Kidman and Michael Ackerfeld's style of growl and scream. Mostly because I feel like they're the closest ones that I would be able to halfway recreate. Because, your Danny Filths of the world, people who've got a very high end, what I would call fry or squall, I'm finding a disconnect trying to find that. With Chris's voice, it's very low. It sounds less like fry and more like cartilage, which is another thing that I'm learning about, the difference between false chords and then the dependence on cartilage and stuff like that. I'm not an expert on metal vocals by any stretch of the imagination. I'm only learning, but it's fascinating. And listening to him now as well, I can tell that that's effortless for him. He's not trying, that's not something he has to push at. I'll have to listen to it a little bit more, but it certainly feels more of a fry, or what in my brain what I would call a more fry sounding of growl than it is the Jens Kidman and the Michael Ackerfeldt more cartilage leaning based growls and screams. Oh, it's very complicated. Let's keep going.
Terrorized, screaming force the thrust of my night. I rush the blade from the chest to the crotch. Organs and entrails fall to the ground. Beg for your life, you won't escape the night. Your fate was sealed today. Disease is spread, you pray for death. Evisceration play. Driven to kill, this is not my will. I am compelled to slay. Invisible foe takes control. Evisceration play.
Yeah, pausing for 2 seconds. Definitely, in my opinion, and again, to reiterate, I would consider myself an expert when it comes to my end of what I do in vocals and the understanding of how vocals work. I don't consider myself an expert in metal vocals. It's quite a different beast. But it sounds like to me that it is a far more fry space that he's coming from, or false chord space that he's coming from. Also, vowels are incredibly important in a lot of this. A lot of his vowels are very like that. They're all quite closed and rounded. Whereas depending on who I was talking about Jens Kidman. Jens Kidman's screams and vowels that he uses when he's doing his thing are very wide and wah, and they're very open and rah. So they're really tall or really wide, whereas this is all very close. Rah, 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 rah. Fascinating.
Unable to be seen, but with visible effect. Fearing a disease causing outbreaks of violence. They tear themselves apart, overcovers the ground. Torn forcefully from the abdomen. Intestines from the blood cannot escape my grip. Surgical incisions give way to present carnage. Delirium is taken hold till the moment is complete. Horror grips my mind. My angels are in my head. My angels are in my head. My angels are in my hands. Plague leads to death. Plague leads to death. Plague leads to death. Plague leads to death.
That one that he did at the end, before the guitar solo started, that sort of like, wah, was a lot more open. I think metal vocalists rely on vowels just as much, if not more so, than any other kind of genre. In soul music, you absolutely rely on vowels to be able to reach some of the higher end of stuff that you're doing. If you're doing vowels in soul music, you'll use them on a lot of things to get to the higher end. Not the best example I can think of, because my brain is blah, blah, blah. But if you were doing something like Aretha, you would modify the vowels in order to make it easier for yourself. So if you're doing R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means to me. I'm not doing find out what it means to me. I'm kind of going, find out what it means to me. It's all very soft. I've rounded off and hidden all the consonants. I don't think metal vocalists do it in the same way, but again, I still feel in order to get some of those incredibly guttural noises they're making, they're obviously having to modify vowels all the time. There you go. Soul singers have a lot in common with metal vocalists. Let's keep going. Boop.
The end of our time. Scavengers will eat the remains of man. Our extinction was by our design. Think for your life, you won't escape the night. Your fate was sealed today. Disease is spread, you pray for death. Evisceration play. Driven to kill, this is not my will. I am compelled to slay. Invisible foe takes control. Evisceration play.
Play. He's opening it up. Okay, I know I talked a lot about the vocals there from Chris. I think it was important because as I progress in my listening to these things and understanding of these things, I'm noticing more and more how things work. I think Chris has a really fascinating voice. I'd be interested to hear more Cannibal Corpse. A sentence I never thought I would say. Just to see what other vowels he uses, what other techniques he incorporates into what it is that he's doing. Can't help but notice that whenever he went up into the higher parts of what he was doing, the vowels all opened up. Again, I made jokes about it, but it's absolutely true. Soul singers and metal singers have that in common. The modification of vowels and the vowels becoming larger as you get bigger, or higher, wider, whatever you want to call it. It's really important. I think the general groove of the song's pretty good. Yes, I did say groove. I really actually thought the solo was fairly inspired. It wasn't dull in the least. And I think that the beginning of the song really set a great tone for it. If you want to do that to it, you want to kind of... And of course, the changing up with the drums was really impressive. I don't think there's ever been a metal drummer I've ever sat and watched and be like, he's not that good. Like, no, everyone I've seen, I'm like, oh, you've probably practiced for years and years and years and years. What do you think of Cannibal Corpse? Do you think this singer Chris has a lot more to his palette? Have you seen Cannibal Corpse live? What other lineups have you seen? As always, thank you to my patrons. Thank you to Steve for requesting this. Thank you for all your likes and comments. Keep them coming. I will get back to you. It may take me some time, but I will. Even if I have to drag myself across broken glass, I'll do it. Until next time, my dudes, stay safe out there.